The more experience you amass, the more that you see how much has already been tried. Some become dismayed by the reality. They fear that they have nothing original left to contribute. That's certainly one way to look at it. But a more optimistic perspective is to realize that you don't have to need to start anything from scratch. There are countless of successes and examples out there of how you can emulate and that you can learn from. You can then use your own perspective and experience to build upon what came before. Online retailers like Amazon, eBay certainly didn't have or reinvent their business models of selling reduced price goods and empowering others to act as vendors. What they did was take what had already been done in a brick and mortar store for a long time and emulate it on a much larger scale. I often tell young entrepreneurs starting out in the same bit of advice. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. You don't know what you don't know, and most likely many others have already struggled with precisely the same challenges you are. If you dust off some books at the library shelf, you'll very likely find that someone else has been working on exactly the same problem as you have been. Therefore, one of the best and easiest ways to create success in anything is to model something or a system that has whatever it is that you're after. In the case of businesses, there are countless of examples of online success and money creation that you can look to. Certainly don't sacrifice your own creativity, but especially as you are starting out, you can learn a tremendous amount by following the examples of others. Follow in the path of those that have done it, and do the same. I myself certainly haven't created the concept behind the real estate or online marketing businesses I run. What I have done is look at the models out there and identify how I can use them and my own expertise to build upon the successes and create something new and valuable for customers. It's amazing how much we undervalue the tremendous power and knowledge filed away in books alone. Just about every major success executive and business founder eventually puts out a memoir on exactly how they did it. Channel some percentage of the time you spent agonizing on the wall that you're hitting and put it into reading their success stories. You will see a path forward in absolutely no time. I'm sure of it. I try to only read books by top performers in a particular field. I found that it helps me to focus on who it is the very best in the world at what it is that they want to do. There are too many books out there and too little time to get bogged down in modeling someone who is not at the peak performer. So, if you want to learn about stock picking, learn from Warren Buffett. If you want to learn about cinema, learn from Steven Spielberg. It would be very difficult to get face time with one of them one-on-one, which is why books and media are such invaluable tools in providing you with insights into how top performers have constructed their business models and learned their craft. Even subscribing to a quality business publication like the Wall Street Journal will provide you with daily, invaluable insight into business trends and how others are navigating the challenges in doing business in this 21st century. I have friends who've stumbled upon tremendous ideas for their own ventures through the daily habit of setting some time aside on purposeful reading. This is important to remember for all harried business executives out there who tell me they're too busy to make time to read. In truth, you're too busy not to always be reading if you intend to stay ahead of the curve in a time of rapid technological and business change. This doesn't mean to outright copy, but keep an eye out for successful models in your industry. Although Pablo Picasso was often said to have commented, "Good artists copy, great artists steal." You may have even more luck with models outside of your industry than you can bring in your own way that your competitors aren't doing. This will allow you to distinguish yourself from what the rest of the herd is up to. Look at how Steve Jobs emulated great design principles in a way that nobody else was doing in the technological space. It wasn't that his concepts were so original, it was that they were original for his particular sector. Look at the examples of John Fertilio and John Voltaggio, the founders of Arizona Green Tea, which is now in stores everywhere. Two friends had initially started out in the beer distribution business, with some humble beginnings working out of their Volkswagen bus. They eventually were inspired by the success of Snapple in selling packaged, brightly colored drinks outside of the usual soda and alcohol trades. They took that example to their own brand and drinks, creating what is today ranked #1 in their field in North America. They didn't invent an entire new model or idea, they merely applied what they had worked elsewhere and tackled a new market niche with it. Or look at Facebook, which certainly didn't invent the terms or idea of social media network. They are already being models like Friendster that included the basic contours and outline of networks which are now connect with acquaintances everywhere. Mark Zuckerberg was able, however, to bring his own psychology and technical insights to build this model into something much, much more effective and ultimately world-changing. He understood that in the early days of building a network, creating a level of exclusivity by making the site limited to Ivy League schools would help get the buzz and the cachet and ultimately get the number of users that he wanted. He ultimately achieved much greater success by looking at existing viable models of successful businesses than coming up with something altogether new from scratch. Remember especially that if you're truly affected with the entrepreneur gene, let's say, your first business will likely not be your last. It will merely be the start that you need to begin to learn about how to launch new ventures in the future. So don't be shy about taking a page from others when starting your first business. Think of it as a learning opportunity that will allow you to gain insights to inform the future enterprises. In the meantime, spend as much time as possible with other entrepreneurs at networking and social events so that you can hear more firsthand about what's worked for them. It isn't only modeling and business design that will help to think like an entrepreneur, but modeling that behavior of entrepreneurs as well. The first step to that is always getting out into the real world and plunging right into the existing world. And that first step is always getting out into the real world and plunging right into it. Get started now and you will be able to thrive as an entrepreneur and build your own business, whether you model or create something from new. But think about modeling what already exists because it's a proven successful tactic. Be sure and visit my website, TonyNewmeyer.com. Check out my Facebook page and follow me there. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Get some free and great information by subscribing on my website, and you can also get a copy of my book, The 7-Minute Millionaire. And so until next time, live rich.